Alright, ladies and gents, I'm going to now teach you a little bit more in depth about market structure and how to read it. Because by now, I believe most of you have understood the value of daily bias and how is it important to have a daily bias. But at the same time, you need to also know that the market moves in waves, the market moves in a certain pattern. So, like, let's say there's an uptrend going on, for example, right? There's an uptrend going on. Uptrend will go like this: higher highs and higher lows, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should have a bullish bias every single day, because you could be over here, and if you have a bullish bias and price pulls back, then you're going to lose. Let's say now you see this, the price is going down again. Let's say you have a bullish bias here, perfect. But again, price is supposed to pull back. If you have a bullish bias here, no, you're going to lose. So this is basically what I want you to understand, which is basically price structure and market structure, how to read market structure properly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick breakdown of exactly what the market is doing and how we can learn structure from it and understand how to read the market structure properly. So first of all, on the 4-hour time frame, on the daily time frame, market is obviously in a sort of an uptrend. But let's go down to the 1-hour time frame and try to read it properly. Okay, so let's try to mark out higher highs and higher lows. So we've got a higher high here, we've got a higher low here, and then let me make circles. I think that would be more. So we've got a higher high here, we've got a lower low here, my bad, we've got a lower low here, okay, and then we've got another higher low here, sorry, higher high, no, lower high, I'm sorry, I really messed this up a lot, but yeah, higher high, lower low, and lower high. So this is what happened. Now this might look very simple to read, but if you look at this, if the price was here, you would not assume that price would go higher and make a lower high, right? And this is where most of the traders get trapped, because the price makes them think at this point that yes, price is going to go and make a lower low, but what it actually does is it goes back up and then makes another lower low. For example, this. So this is the area, this is the move where 90% of the people get trapped, because they fail to read complex pullbacks. This is basically a complex pullback, right? So if in itself, this entire structure, if you read this entire structure from here to here, this in itself is a higher high, higher low, and higher high. So this is a complex, this is what I like to call a complex pullback, because here it seemed like this was the higher low, sorry, lower high, but it went down, went up, liquidated all the sides. So first went down, liquidated the buyers, then went up, liquidated the sellers, and then it actually gave the move. So this is what I want you to understand, because the market moves in this fashion, right? So and right now that is something similar that is happening. So one thing that we know is that the price has created a lower low here, right? And now we don't know whether this is the higher low or there will be another one, correct? And that is why it is very important for you to read the price properly. That is why it is so important for you to understand where exactly you should expect a complex pullback, where exactly you should expect a trend continuation, and where exactly you should play safe. So if you actually think about it, if you actually read along the lines clearly, you will notice that it is not so tough for you to read. Because what happened here, price went up, came down, and then went up, because for price to go down, it needs selling pressure. Where does the selling pressure comes from? From a supply zone. So the price went up. Is there a supply zone here? Probably not. Doesn't look like it. And that means this is potentially a fake move. that's why price came, because price tried going down here but did not find enough selling pressure, so it had no option but to go up, take sellers here, and then go down. So this is what I like to call a complex pullback. So in simple language, if you don't see the price going down or going up from a support or resistance level, which is a decent support or resistance, or decent supply or demand level, then you should not consider it as a good, I would say, market structure. I would consider it a complex pullback. Now again, this is where we are standing as of now. Okay, so let me forward it to the present level. So this is where we are right now. Now this is a supply zone which I would look forward to, because first of all, one more thing, price went down, came up, there was barely any selling pressure, right? Look at the size of the candles. So this is something that I would like to call a complex pullback. So this is a complex pullback because first of all, price went up, came down, there was no significant supply zone over here. The only supply zone that I can see is this one, which is untapped. And if you remember my previous analysis which I posted in the community, this is the zone that I am anticipating since a long time. So again, price went up. If you see, it's kind of a similar pattern, right? Price went up, went down, made the sellers excited, went up, took all of them out, and then gave the actual move. What is happening here? Something similar, right? Price went up, came down, make the sellers excited, price might go up, and then give the actual downside move. So this is what is called a complex pullback. If you learn how to read this, you will become a champion at the daily bias. You will become a champion at reading daily bias. And now, if you ask me, now I'm going to tell you why I said that today's morning trade was going to be a low probability trade, because I'm anticipating the price to come here and then go down. So if I'm anticipating the price to go higher and tap into the supply level, how can I expect to have a bearish bias? So that's why when I went, I was not willing to go short here, because I know at the back of my head that the price is supposed to come here and touch this supply zone and then go down. And that is why I said that today's trade was a low probability trade. Now let's say if it was something like this, price has already touched it, so form support, breaks this support. This would be an A plus setup. This is a setup I would take for sure, because I know that this move that is happening, it's a healthy move. It's a move that has been touched from the supply level, and then, so let me put in the session indicator. So this is the session indicator, right? Now let's say over here, Monday price touched the supply zone, came, it's coming down. London session starts here. Let me delete this one. London session started here, right? Now this is a support level that I know. Now I know that the price has already touched the supply level and the downside move can happen. There's a very high probability of that happening. Price comes down, breaks the support. Let's say for example, I take a trade here. Breaks the support, candle closes. I go short with a stop loss here. Short till here. Now again, this is just hindsight. I'm not saying I would take this trade, but the chances of this happening is highest, I would say, compared to today's scenario, right? So let me just turn off the session indicator. So this is by Lux Algo. You can search it up. It's on TradingView. And hence, today I was not so sure about it, because what am I expecting? I am expecting a complex pullback from the markets into this supply level right here. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, this gives you clarity, because this is a very simple concept, but it's a little bit tough to understand. Once again, depends on who's explaining it to you. I hope I have done a good job explaining this entire concept to you. So now you have a little bit more clarity on how to read market structures and how to actually form your daily bias, because your bias, let's say if your bias was short, your bias was absolutely correct. But on this day itself, was it correct? No. Why? Because the price is supposed to touch in this supply level and then go down. And hence, it is very important for you to read complex pullbacks and market structure levels like this. So ladies and gentlemen, that was a little bit of my analysis on the side, just to justify why today's trade was a low probability trade. I hope it helps. All the best.